assume then you guys have got a lot of talent coming back with preseason expectations pretty high for them.
Well, I think that's where it starts. They're operating with a veteran coach, a system that you have a lot of returning players, and their style of play is unique as well. You know, the dribble at back doors, they space the floor from 5 different positions. So it'll be a challenge to keep our concentration off the ball and be able to stay with cutters, not leave guys open, and be able to take care of the ball anytime that you play your first exhibition game. That's always a concern is valuing the basketball and making sure that we get good shots and we're not throwing to the other team.
You were in the arena for the game on Sunday watching it. What's it going to be like walking out there to coach? I know it's just an exhibition game, but to coach a game with all those fans, everything you've been through for the last few months.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for our players. I don't look at it anything more than that. We have to learn from whatever happens on Sunday. There are going to be some good moments, there are going to be some bad moments, and we just got to learn from them. And that's what you try to do in the preseason. So the significance of me walking out at the Yum Center, I think that's probably more for fans and everyone else than it is for me. I'm more worried about seeing that our team is operating at its best this early in the preseason.
Is a game against, what Coach Davenport, their style, their system, they're ranked #1 in the country. Is that obviously a good test? Do you like that first right out of the bat?
I'll answer that 2 hours after the start of the game. No, I mean, I think that, our guys want to play against somebody else. I mean, for the entire summer, throughout preseason, they've been battling one another. Sure be good for them to see some guys in different uniforms. And again, whatever happens on Sunday, we're going to continue to learn from it and get better. I'm sure there'll be a lot of good and a lot of bad, and we just have to, sharpen our saw because of it. But yeah, it's about that time we got to play somebody else.
You mentioned on Wednesday the guys kind of staring through you as they adjust to your system and some of the things that you've introduced. Is there 1 or 2 things you're really looking forward to seeing how they respond to in a game situation on Sunday?
Just things that we've talked about. Things that we've drilled daily. I want to see our communication on the defensive end be sharp. I want to see us value the ball on offense. Just the little things that probably too many to name here, but we'll take inventory after the game.
Chris, it's not a real game, but will you play it early as a real game and try to get into a sub pattern, or will you use some guys that maybe in a real game you won't do?
No, we'll try to get everybody out there. We'll worry about rotations and all that stuff at a later time. I want to get game experience with different lineups. Having said that, we're playing to win, and I think that's anytime you take the floor, and that's what you're trying to do, playing to win. So, a lot of times you have these plans prior to the start of the game, and a guy draws 2 quick fouls, and you sort of wad that piece of paper up and sort of do it on the fly. But we are going to try to get all the guys in and in hopes that we can get some experience out there.
Sunday, I know you said that you wanted the defense to be a little tighter in some spots. In these couple days of practice that you've had since then, is that something that you focus on, or have there been other things that you guys have been keen in on?
No, I mean, I think we had to be a lot sharper on the defensive end than we were on Sunday. I'll be looking for improvement, come this Sunday. I mean, you're always working both sides of the floor. We like to battle ourselves in practice with scholarship player versus scholarship player, and so one team might be working the offensive side of the ball, and the other team's working the defensive side of the ball. But we need to be a lot better with our communication, our readiness on the defensive end. We're going to get tested on Sunday for sure.
You mentioned that Malik kind of told on himself in the red-white. How's he reacted this week in practice, and any improvement there?
He's probably put his best 3 or 4 days together all preseason. And so our job is to continually challenge him, to be more than just a guy that sits on the perimeter and shoots jump shots. He's got to affect things around the basket, on both ends of the floor, whether it's offensive rebounding, blocking shots, being in the right spots, defensively on ball screen situations. we ask a lot of our big guys, and it's been nice to see the last couple of days. I think his play has picked up.
2010, your Xavier team lost to Bellarmine.
Xavier.
What did they take away from that game, and what did you remember from that game too?
We ran out of gas. Bellarmine was really good, like they are this year, like they are every year it seems. And we simply ran out of gas. I don't think we were in the shape we needed to be at. They had an experienced team, and it was a learning lesson for our team. And that team that you talk about that lost to Bellarmine ends up winning the A10 regular season championship, and winning 24 or 25 games that year. So again, everybody's playing to win, but it's what you do after the fact, and are you able to improve and learn from the game. That's a big hope of mine is after Sunday's game.
There were a couple guys in the scrimmage, Darius and Dwayne, who started out really well and kind of faded as the game went on. How do you keep players motivated so that doesn't happen, so you don't run out of gas?
The bench does that pretty well.
You mentioned Bellarmine good this year, good every year. What makes them? What's their calling card?
Well, I think Coach Davenport does a really good job of having an offense that's constantly in motion. Guys don't stand still. You've got cutters backdooring. Again, you have 5 players at every position. For the most part, they can shoot the three, so they keep you spaced. I think that's one of their calling cards on the offensive end. And they play very well together. Defensively, they really try to shrink the floor. I think Louisville had 20 turnovers a year ago, and it wasn't because Bellarmine was picking up full court and pressing and turning. It was simply, they were trying to create that cobweb. When you drove in the lane, 3 or 4 guys are going to be there, and very rarely you're going to see a free lane on a drive. So you got to be strong with the basketball and make solid decisions, and that's where they're going to test you defensively.
What do you mean by the term shrink the floor?
Well, they're not, defensively they're not out in passing lanes, so they're not attached to their man. When they're off the ball, they tend to be, closer towards the basket, closer towards the paint. Not that they allow jump shots, but, their emphasis is to keep the ball in front and limit dribble penetration, which is, a focus of ours as well.
I think a bunch of former players are invited today to practice. What do you hope to achieve with that? What's the goal there?
There's no goal. I want them to know that they're always welcome here, and hopefully power is restored here in Little Yum by the time the guys show up. Again, nothing bigger than that. Just want them to always feel like this is their program because they built this place, and we just decided to mark this day as one because it's finally a free one on my calendar.
At ACC Media Days, you said that your style of play is when you feel like it allows you to win on the road. What did you mean by that?
I think that it's a way that defensively, if we can keep the ball in front of us and contest shots and be a team that's disciplined and not jumping out in passing lanes, keeps the ball in front of you. It allows teams sometimes that are maybe inferior athletically. It gives them a chance, and not that we're inferior, but I think that you look at the history of teams that have played the pack line. I wouldn't describe or categorize those teams as crazy athletic, but yet they've done a terrific job of playing man-to-man, again, keeping the ball in front and limiting second shots. And I think if you can do that, it doesn't really matter what a team's ranked. It doesn't really matter whether you're at home, on the road. If you can consistently do that, I think you can stay in any game. And that's the goal. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen overnight, but that's certainly the goal of ours.
I was picked to finish 11th in conference. What are your thoughts on that?
I really I take no stock in preseason predictions. It's just an opinion. If we were here in March and you want to talk about us finishing 11th, then I'll be happy to do that. But we worry about the reality of getting better every day. So again, it's several other people's opinions, and last time I checked, that doesn't really affect how we practice or what our goals or aspirations are.
Is there any change in VJ's status, or will he be available to play on Sunday? There's I guess transcripts from the trial that came out and doesn't say his name, it does say VJ. Is there any?
No, BJ he'll be playing.
With the tapes coming out now, is there any more concern?
No more concern.
Anything else, guys? All right,
Thank
Thank you.